it's the way.
We wanted men.
I have spoken.
How'd you enjoy the swap?
It wasn't too bad, man. I actually had a really good day today. How about yourself?
It's all right. It wasn't as good. I don't know. I saw some new guys there, which was nice.
Yeah.
Um,
Like new guys as in like vendors or just
Yeah.
people at the show?
new vendors. There was
Okay.
a few, like I think 2 or 3 new vendors there today. Added a little bit more stuff to it, a little bit more variety.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But there was a Lego guy. Did you see him?
I did see the Lego guy. He was kind of in the middle row, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see the Lego guy. I didn't go look at the Lego guy because I ain't got money for that. Uh-oh. Did you drop something?
I dropped my phone,
That's all right.
but I'm moving it because it interferes with that sometimes.
But no, just I did see the Lego guy, but I didn't purchase anything from him.
Okay.
So
He's the only thing I bought for something from. I bought a. They did every year at May the 4th. They do like a giveaway where you buy so much crap and they'll give you something.
yeah.
And I bought last year's or this year's
Oh, nice.
May the 4th. It was I guess Dolores Homestead with a sandcrawler, like a very minimalistic
Yeah.
thing. My granddaughter's letting the puppies out.
So it was her that let the dogs out.
Yes.
So it was she who let the dogs out. I have to correct my grammar.
But we're Jason's out of town this week, so I got our buddy Jordan Ghastly to come sit in.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for bringing the beer.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
So there was a swap meet, monthly or bi-monthly. Is it bi-monthly?
Mm-hmm.
Bi-monthly swap meet today over in Powder Springs. So figured we'd come over and talk about that. I don't know. Maybe did you get a chance to watch Visions?
I didn't get a chance. I've not been home all day.
Oh, you did like me.
I take that back. I went home, and then I changed, and then I looked at my watch, and I'm like, I have to be at Glen's in about an hour.
So you wouldn't. The one thing good is they're like 20 minutes, but it's still unless you're in the anime 20. If you watch 8 20-minute animes, you're like,
You can probably watch all that in one sitting.
it's rough though.
Is it?
Well, because I'm not into anime.
I'm not an anime guy either, but I'm a Star Wars guy, so it's like, which one supersedes the other?
Right.
Are you more of a Star Wars guy than you are not an anime guy?
Right. I don't.
So
And I was talking to Chance today because I went by Second Chance, and he was saying that it's basically an anime with Star Wars sprinkled in versus a Star Wars anime.
right. Okay, I could see that. I know some of my friends have watched it. But yeah, like trying to get me to sit on the couch and watch something these days is like pulling teeth. Because I feel like whenever I come home from work, because since I'm back on the 2-job duty, I just come home and I put the TV on YouTube and I just let YouTube play until like 10:30, and I'm like, okay, time to go to bed.
Right.
So like actually sitting down and paying attention to something, and it's kind of hard for me to do these days.
I feel you.
So.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. They're cool, but I still got one left. I put them in the same vein as What If. It's like if I watch it, I'm good, and if I don't watch it, I'm good.
Yeah. I am slowly catching up on What If. I think I finally got to last week's episode, so I haven't watched this week's episode.
Right, which I think is like Ultron or something.
Yeah.
Which I'm just now figuring out they're building on each other, kinda.
Mm-hmm.
After so many, they at least show you the last 30 seconds is what's coming up. Which I thought the zombie one was good, and actually I think that was one of my favorites.
The zombie episode?
Yeah.
That one wasn't too shabby. Did you ever read the Marvel Zombies comic back in the day? It was written by Robert Kirkman, the guy who did the Walking Dead stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think the Marvel Zombies thing came out before or right as Walking Dead was kind of starting to come out. But in the comic was actually, it's worth your time if you ever get a chance and you find a copy super cheap. That first run is worth your time to read.
Nice. Yeah. I like comics, but I gotta buy like the trade paperbacks.
Yeah, that's same.
Because it's not worth my time if I don't.
It's also not worth the money.
Amen.
To do comic. So when I graduated college, I thought about dipping my toe back into comic books, and it was a good time, especially for the DC stuff, because they were rebooting their entire run of everything, and I thought, all right, good time to jump in. I was buying like 2 or 3 titles a week. I'm like, cool, I can spend $12 on comic books a week. $12 turned into $40 a week, and then $40 4 times a month, and I was like, no, I can't do it, so I quickly got back out. Couldn't do it.
All right, that's what, because when Marvel rebooted the Star Wars, it wasn't Marvel, they did the Marvel comics. It was Star Wars through Marvel, right?
Mm-hmm.
The new ones. And Mandy looked at me as soon as I started into it. She's like, you can have comics or toys. You can't have both. I said, I'll stick with toys.
Yeah, stick with toys. For sure. So, kind of getting us back on track at the toy swap. Did you only picked up the Lego set?
That was it.
Yeah? Is there anything else that caught your eye while you were out there?
I saw an ET thing, like a paint-a figure, or the ceramic paint yourself ET thing. Mm-hmm. But Mandy already had it.
Okay.
I sent her a picture of it. She's like, I've got one. And I'm like, she's like, they're already in bad shape. I'm like, this one's in bad shape too. And he's only wanting like $7 for it. So, but she already had it. So, and when I went back, it was gone. So somebody got it.
No, hey, well, at least maybe it went to a good home, right?
Yeah, and then there was a mint on card Wicket that they wanted like $110 for. That.
Is that a good price for a mint on card Wicket, or is?
I think that's the going rate. The bubble was really yellow.
Okay.
In my opinion, I don't know if I'd pay that. I'd probably pay $75 for it.
Okay.
But I don't know. Mandy's like, I don't want. She's like, I've already got a try logo one. So why do I want a normal one?
Nah.
I don't want to, double and triple.
Right.
Double up.
I feel like that's one area of Star Wars collecting that I'm definitely not prepared to go down is the vintage mint on card.
Yeah.
Because Homeboy doesn't have that kind of money. Like I don't have a Scrooge McDuck money bin full of gold coins to throw.
You can find them cheap if you're not picky.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we were in Cincinnati, we picked up 3 of them and some other stuff. And she had picked up 2 of the last 17 mint on card. And then I picked up a Boba Fett offer, Snaggletooth. But all of them had issues. Mine had the bubble was cut. You're not sure if the figure was removed, but it still had the footer and the weapon.
Okay.
And then one of the Ewoks, the bubble was coming off on top, and another one had a cut in it and the weapon missing. But it was really weird because the cut was on the opposite side of where the weapon is. And the weapon, they taped the weapon on the bubble.
Right. Like, man, I wonder if somebody got in there with like some long skinny tweezers.
That would be the only way, but it's like if you were going to do that, why don't you just cut it on the side where the weapon is?
Right. Unless you didn't want to damage the weapon, but still, I feel like you could work around that.
Right.
So.
And we picked those up for, I think, like right at $400 with some other accoutrements.
That's not too shabby, man.
No. I was pretty happy with it.
Yeah. Not too shabby at all.
So that was kind of a shocker for her. He was like, bam, and Mandy was like, oh, shit. She was like, I'm not at this level. He goes, well, you kind of are.
Well, everybody has their gateway figure, I guess.
Right.
Right?
It's crazy. So she only needs 2 more to complete a mint on card of each Ewok. But I don't know. And they're 2 of the other last 17. So that's... If it happens, it happens. But
slowly getting there, man. Yeah. I'm assuming that the yak face is the hardest one to get, right?
probably it's one of the most expensive ones. I think they're about $4,000 for a tri-logo.
Whew.
Yeah.
Oof. Man, like I owe $4,000 on my car. Like that's
Right.
That's how much that figure costs.
Yeah, when
a
I got
portion of my automobile.
it's scary when you get up into that area where you're like, damn, I just spent what a car's worth on this. Yeah, I mean, but I don't know. You're at that, like, you know, instead of making a purchase a month, you make a purchase a year, I guess.
I guess, man. Oof.
Did you pick stuff up?
I did. I actually probably had the best toy swap I've had since I started going. The only Star Wars pickup I had was I found a Black Series Wrecker for a friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
I already picked mine up, which remind me because I do want to tell you a story about that.
Yes.
Because I caught a scalper, so I want to tell you. I would give you the details. But so I picked up a Wrecker, and the dude had him $5 cheaper than retail. I got him for $25.
Really?
Yeah, and I was shocked because I'm thinking, all right, because I buy from that guy regular, and he's kind of the guy off in the corner. Like if you're looking at the entrance to Treasure Hunt,
Mm-hmm.
he's usually off on the right, and he's got a tent, and he has a whole like bunch of everything. He's got Star Wars, Marvel, DC, Transformers, Masters of the Universe, the whole nine.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime I go and I buy something from him, he's very, very reasonably priced, and sometimes like $1 or $2 under retail.
Wow.
Like I picked up a Crosshair Black Series and a Hunter Black Series from him for $20 each.
Wow.
So a couple of toy swaps ago, but I picked up the Wrecker and he gave it to me for $25, and then I found an open Marvel Legend figure that I was looking for that is now going for at least $40 to $60 on eBay, and gave it to me for $12.
Nice.
Yeah, so I was really happy about that. And then I picked up a Batman animated series figure from my buddy Robert. He gave me a super good deal. Oh, excuse me. And what else did I pick up? One of the guys in the Georgia Action Figure Coalition Collective Facebook group hooked me up with a Marvel Legend figure that I was looking for. And that's all I picked up at the swap. I did a little bit of a post-toy hunt, and I found another Marvel Legend figure I was looking for, and I found the new NECA McCready figure from the John Carpenter's The Thing.
Uh-huh.
It comes with the flamethrower, so I picked that up too.
Nice.
So that was kind of my haul for the day / toy swap. But I normally, I feel like because I collect so much more of like the modern stuff, that when I go to the toy swap, like I usually walk with nothing because I either have it or I'm not willing to pay some of the high prices on some of those things.
Yes.
So.
Speaking of the Georgia action figure group, is that because there was one guy there that I've seen around a lot that just has a ton of stuff, but it looks like he just raids targets. And the people were complaining about him. It seemed like people were complaining about him.
Are you talking about from the post today?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't. If you want to talk about this, we can go down this rabbit hole.
Yeah, let's.
There was yeah. So I didn't get a look at the dude because I looked at his prices and I gave a very, very big eye roll. Mm-hmm. And then I just backed because I wasn't going to entertain shopping at that dude's booth, and he was one of the newer vendors that I saw this go around. So NECA just released a Gargoyles figure for the character Goliath, and it's a $36 figure. Mm-hmm. It's hefty. It's worth your $36. I picked one up a couple weeks ago, or about a week ago, but at Target it is a $36 figure. That dude was selling them $65.
Jesus.
Almost 100% markup.
Right.
Then he had a whole bunch of the G.I. Joe reissue figures, the $12 retro ones, the 3 3/4 ones, and he had a whole bunch of Cobra infantry, and he was selling them for $20 each. And not for nothing. Like, here's the deal. I try not to pass judgment, but whenever I see 10 of one figure in the same spot for the same price, that tells me that you're going around and picking them up at retail, and you're hoarding. That's like a classic scalper, right? I didn't get a look at the dude, but some friends of mine got a look at the dude, so I'm gonna make it a point to like not give that guy my business, because I don't want to support that kind of upcharge in the community.
Right.
Like, I feel like if somebody goes out and buys something and there's like a $5, maybe a $6 upcharge, cool. That's your gas tax, right? That's your, hey, I went and fetched this for you tax. I don't mind that. Sometimes, even on older figures, I personally don't like to pay more than $10 over retail, because at the end of the day, it's just a thing of plastic to me, right?
Right.
It's a toy. Like, we're grown men, and it's toys. Like, I'm not going to go out of my way to pay an astronomical price for something. If I don't get it, then guess what? I don't get it. I move on. But whenever your markup on a $35 figure, $36 figure, is an additional $30, nah, man, I can't support that.
Right.
I can't support that, and I'm definitely going to try to tell my friends to not support that. I'm not here for it.
Right. No, I'm trying to decide which one he was. Was he on the... If you're walking out or looking at or coming out of Treasure Hunt, he's all the way on the left?
He was on the right. If you're looking at Treasure Hunt, he was on the right too.
Okay.
He was actually right across from the dude I get the good deals from.
Okay. Oh, because that dude's got the dude I think you're talking about's got a lot of open stuff.
Yeah. The dude dude that I get good deals from has open and sealed. And again, I get solid, almost close to, if not cheaper than retail deals from him.
Yeah, I've seen that guy, but I've never looked at his... Well, because I'll do a scan of the guy with the open stuff, because he has them still in the trays.
Yeah, so that's the guy that I get the good deals from.
But it's all Marvel stuff. It's not... No, I never
Star Wars is around the back.
Okay.
Star Wars is, yeah. So, because I actually picked up... Actually, all the Star Wars figures that I bought from the Toy Swap have been from that guy.
Okay.
And I don't know his name, and I've given him tons of my money. So I should probably figure that out at some point.
All right. So, we are talking about the same guy, the guy scalping. And I think I've seen him at another show in Brazelton, but I never check his pricing because it was not the stuff that I wanted.
Yeah, and I just... That's the kind of stuff in the community that I find incredibly disheartening.
Right.
Is that, especially after this last year, when collectibles have skyrocketed and prices on even newer things have started to go up, and I feel like it's kind of starting to come back down and level out now that, I guess, I'm using air quotes here, now that the world is getting back to normal.
Right.
Take that for what you will. But I just can't get on board with somebody taking advantage of the situation like that and then going ham on it, right? Like, just... Like, this guy easily had 10 Cobra Troopers, 15 Cobra Troopers, and, those are only, 2, maybe 3 per case, if that. And this dude had tons. So, somebody's going around and scooping them up. And, on that Facebook page, which is a great, I really like that Facebook group, the Georgia Action Figure Collective, the GAFC is what it is. I've been very fortunate to be one of the first people that joined that group, and I think it's a really solid community. Every once in a while there's a bad egg, and then they get called out, and then they kind of show themselves to the door because they realize that it's not the community that they thought it was. It's actually a really solid, tight-knit community, and I've met some really good people there. Actually, the people that I go to the Toy Swap with, I met through that group, and they're all great dudes. So I forget where I was going with the Facebook page, but it's been a really good community, and I think that's where I was headed. that community like is really solid about looking out for one another. Like if you're looking for, doesn't matter what figure you're looking for, a Star Wars, a Marvel, a Transformer, a NECA, a Turtle, whatever, somebody's got your back there, and
Right.
I think that's really cool. So,
All right, I do notice that it's a lot of, hey, I'm here, this is what they got, I'm here for 20 minutes, message me.
yeah, and I'm, if I've got the extra money, I'm more than happy to pick something up for somebody, and at cost, I'm not going to add the gas tag because I'm already there.
Right.
Like I already went looking for me. If anybody else wants anything while I'm here, you're just reaping the benefits. Like, and I'm fine with that because, I try to pay it forward because I've had that done for me. So, and I try to do what I can to keep the community, the local collecting community, whether, again, regardless of what, if it's Star Wars or not Star Wars, just be cool, right?
Right.
Like it's the old adage is be cool and don't be a dick.
Right. That's my number one rule, man. And because we just got back from Cincinnati last week. We were up there, and it's a totally different atmosphere up there because everybody's like, okay, I'm looking for this. Well, I don't carry this, or I may have this much stuff, but you go to this guy down the street, or a couple of towns over, and he carries a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're into wrestling. Well, I was talking to one lady. She owns Route 68, which is a really cool shop outside of Dayton. Because she's got a shop, and then they made like a consignment shop, like a little antique mall, basically, mini antique mall, where they put a bunch of stand-up booths in it, or cases, and people can rent out the cases and just fill them with whatever. And she was like, yeah, I'm not ashamed to tell people, or this is what I'm trying to make the community where we're friendly competition, because I can't carry everything, you can't carry everything, but if you know who carries what, and then you're willing to share the information, everybody's willing to say, go see these people,
right?
It could, you make a better community that way.
Yeah, no, I'm that's what I'm here for, right? Like
Right.
that's what I'm here for. So, yeah, but it's a solid group of people in that group. So
Right, and I'm really hoping, so when coming back, we're driving. You got 6 hours. You're in the car just shooting the shit for 6 hours, and I'm like, I could see this area in 5 to 6 years. If people are cool, it's going to be another mecca for toy hunting, because you've got a lot of stores that are coming up and real close to each other.
not only that, but like, I mean, we're just north of Atlanta. Right. So like we've got like the benefit of being just north of the metro area. We have a lot of big box stores, and then we have like we're starting to have a lot of really cool, fun pop-up toy stores. Right. Like that's the new face of toy store is like the second chances. Right. Like those kind of stores where you might find some new stuff, but you're gonna find a lot of vintage stuff too.
Right.
So I hesitate to call them collectible stores. I mean, I guess on paper, yeah, it's a collectible store, but I don't know. The child in me just wants to call it a toy store because it's more fun.
Right.
I want to go to the toy store because you can't go to a toy store. You can't go to a Toys R Us anymore.
Right.
Which is a bummer.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the one thing I like. When you go to Second Chance, Chance is like, he knows who you are, and you can spend an hour in there, and he's like, if you buy something, great. If you don't, that's cool too, because I know what you're looking for.
Right.
And eventually you're going to buy stuff.
Chance is a good dude, and he knows me by name now too. And I always say this because I feel bad. It's the only time I've ever actually purchased something in there was my first visit, and I only spent $10. And then I've been in there a handful of times since then, but it just seems that like that one piece that I'm looking for is never around, or it's somebody got to it before I could get to it, or which is fine. Again, I know the chances I take, but I always like that whenever it's kind of like the episodes of Cheers when Norm walks in. And everyone's like, Norm! Like, I kind of feel like that whenever we go to Second Chance. So,
right.
So, Chance is a good dude.
Yeah. Yeah. I went there, I was there today and talked to him for a little bit. Like I said, I didn't buy anything, but there's some stuff that you're like, I may buy that eventually, or I'll keep my eye on it. Or
there was something that I was looking for that I could have sworn he had last time I was there, but I didn't see it today. So I was like, yeah, it'll come back in eventually.
Yeah.
Because I've got some stuff that I wouldn't mind taking in for trade to see what I could get. But I actually brought it to the toy swap today to see if I could trade. But like I don't know. Like I'm a little hesitant going up to vendors and going, "You want to trade stuff?"
Right.
And, because sometimes they are and sometimes they don't. And again, like I'm sure the stuff I've got is super niche and specific. So
right.
I don't know if it would do many people good. I'm probably the only person that cares about the stuff that I have that I'm trading.
That's how I feel about all the stuff I collect.
No one's gonna care.
Yeah, I'm the only one that gives a crap about it. Or then you find somebody that's like, oh man, I love that stuff, and then you're like, look at this, and they're like, oh my god.
Yep. Have I got a deal for you then?
But yeah, I did go. Did you go by? You said you went by Second Chance.
Yeah, so we must have just missed each other then.
Yeah, I went. I was there probably. Well, I also went by the Cobb Antique Mall before I went to Second Chance because I drove right by the antique.
Right,
mall
right.
first.
What time did you stop in?
1:30ish.
Oh, you were there way before me.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get there till maybe 3.
Okay.
3:30.
Yeah, because I was back here by 3 because we were going to dinner with the grandbabies.
Right.
At 5, so I had to be home fairly quick. Or I wanted to have enough time to chill out before we left.
Right, yeah. We left the toy swap probably around 1.
Okay.
And then we hit up a handful of stores. And then by the time we got to Second Chance, it was probably like 3:30.
Gotcha.
So we hung out there for a minute too. Like I think when we left, it was close to 5.
Wow.
So
yeah, you get when there's nothing going on and they get talkative, you lose track of time real quick in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were actually talking about Toys R Us in there as well.
Yeah. Man,
good old days.
I still remember the first time I went to Toys R Us and you just stop and you're like, oh crap.
Yeah. I can't remember if we talked about this a little bit on the podcast the last time I was on. But growing up in Houma, we didn't have one.
Right.
The closest one was in New Orleans, or the closest one was in Metairie, which is just outside of New Orleans. And we had KB Toys at Southland Mall, so that was my toy store. Was KB. But the day I walked into a Toys R Us, it blew my damn mind.
It was great.
I didn't know like sensory overload.
Mm-hmm.
Sensory overload. So much stuff going on, and I was able. My parents were like, "You get one thing," and I was like, "No, that's the worst torture." Walking into the store of all the things you want, and then them going, "Just one."
Right.
Like, oh no.
I want them all.
Yeah.
Do you remember what you bought?
I do. It was it was a Transformer from the Generation 2 line. Because I didn't get a chance to... My first Toys R Us experience wasn't until 94.
Oh, wow.
95, maybe? So, yeah, we didn't go to the city very often.
Right.
So, yeah, it was an Optimus Prime figure from Transformers Generation 2. And then I think on my next trip, I picked up some Star Wars stuff. I distinctly remember picking up the Power of the Force 2 Tarkin and...
Not Tarkin. Oh, yeah, Power of the Force 2, sorry.
Yeah.
Duh.
So, yeah, the 90s Power of the Force.
Yeah.
So I picked up a Tarkin, and I think I picked up the Long Snoot. Garindin?
Right.
Or Garindin, however you pronounce that guy's name. Somebody on the podcast listening.
They're wrecking right now.
Yeah. Yeah, they just ran into a tree. Never have this Jordan guy on again. How dare you, Glen?
I suck at names too, so don't feel bad.
So yeah, but I do remember picking those up at a Toys R Us back in the day. So let me tell you my Scalper story.
Let's hear it.
And are we taking round 2 over
yeah,
here?
You want one?
Well, I'll take I'm gonna get another one of these.
You don't want it cold?
Oh damn! I didn't know you put it in the. I didn't know you put some in the mini fridge.
I threw half of them in there.
All right. There you go, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So I started this new job a month ago, and I still work at the record store 3 days out of the week, but I have a good hour between job to job. So every once in a while, I'm like, I got an hour. I can pop into a store. So I popped into the Target on Barrett Parkway in Kennesaw, Georgia. You know, I'm saying Kennesaw, Georgia for the people that might live out of state, like they track where we buy toys,
right?
And there was nothing new on any of the shelves. But I did turn around and I saw an entire peg full of wreckers. And now at this point, I had already purchased a wrecker for me, but it was the first time that I'd seen them all on a peg. So I grabbed one and I messaged a friend of mine to see if he needed one. And I held on to it. I almost put it back on the peg, but something told me to hold on to it. I was like, yeah, I'll hold on to it. Then I walked to the collectible section in the electronics to check if there's any cool new horror NECA stuff. And then my wife has started to collect Squishmallows, which are kind of like the new Beanie Baby.
Ugh.
Right, you know, listen, my wife is a saint who puts up with a lot of my action figure nonsense. So if she wants to start collecting this stuff, by all means, I'm all in on her collecting this. So I've actually started to hunt for her for those when she's at work. So I went from the Star Wars section to the NECA section to like the plush section of Target. This was under 1 minute.
Jeez.
Under 1 minute. And then I said, I'm going to go back and take a look and just see if I missed anything. I turned the corner, and there's a dude standing there. I immediately look at the peg, and I see that the peg is empty, which shocked me because there were 3 figures there before. And remember, I have the one in my hand. And then I noticed there was a guy standing there with a baseball cap, and he had one of the little hand baskets on the ground, all 3 wreckers.
Damn.
In the basket. Now, I didn't want to jump to conclusions because maybe maybe he wants one and he's buying 2 for 2 friends. I don't know. I don't know this, so I'm doing my best not to jump to conclusions. But then I see that like he has some other stuff in his basket. And then I'm like, oh, I think I'm going to go around the other aisle. So I turn back around the other aisle and I look at some more stuff. And then I'm having this internal dialogue with me. I'm like, is this dude a scalper? Is this dude not a scalper? I don't know. And I was like, you know what though? If he is a scalper, I'm going to get a good look at him just so I can commit a face to memory in case I see this dude out and about. Because if he is a scalper, he's the one ruining it for the rest of us.
Right.
So I go back around to the other side, and I'm not going to take a picture of him, because, like, that's the last thing I want to do. Like, I have zero interest in doxing somebody, but I want to know, for my future reference, if I see this dude at another store, if he's about to buy up a whole bunch of everything. So I turn back around to go to the other aisle, and he's gone. And I guess at that time, we had both switched aisles at the same time, because then I doubled back to the aisle I was previously on, and he was on his phone looking at stuff, like scrolling on his phone.
I hate when I see people
and I'm
doing
like,
that.
And I'm like, okay, this to me solidifies the fact that he's out here specifically looking things up on his phone to see if he can resell them. And he had a couple more things thrown on top of the 3 wreckers in his handbasket when he got to the other aisle. So I'm like, all right, so this dude is obviously buying stuff to resell them. And again, I didn't take a picture, but at that point, I hadn't heard back from my friend on if he wanted the other wrecker. And I'm like, no, he's not getting this one. This one's coming with me. I will find somebody to sell this wrecker to at cost. So, luckily, my friend ended up needing him. So I picked up the wrecker, and then I kind of gave a warning text to a couple of my friends, like, hey, FYI, I just saw what I think is a scalper. Be on the lookout for somebody who meets this description. Which, of course, like, white dude with shaggy hair and a hat, like, which...
That's everybody.
That's literally everybody, right? Then the next day, at the same time, my buddy a different friend messaged me and says, "Hey, I think I just caught a scalper at the Big Chicken Walmart scalping Ninja Turtle figures because those retro turtle figures came out." And I was like, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, I got a picture of them." I'm like, "You're a braver man than me."
Right.
And he's like, "I'm not going to post the picture, but this is the picture." And I'll be damned if it wasn't the same guy.
Damn it.
It was the same guy. And I was like, okay, so I know for sure we have at least one serial scalper in the area. And I'm glad I at least bought that one wrecker, because those 3 wreckers in his basket would have been the 4 wreckers had I not.
Right.
Or had I not held on to the one of them.
And they're 4 per case. They were 4 per
case.
Case.
They're 4 per case, because it's a deluxe figure.
And those things aren't cheap. That's what blows my mind is when I see people doing that. It's like $100.
That was about $97 worth of merchandise with just those 3 wreckers.
Yeah.
Because they were $31.50, $31.59. So.
Yeah, you're not buying those just for grins and giggles.
Nah, man. Nah. And I don't know, like, I was mad because I wanted to say something, but I also realized, again, I'm a 38-year-old man and these are toys. I'm not going to get in a fight over toys.
You don't know how many times a day I tell myself that.
But I will say, even though I didn't say anything to him, I didn't let him get the one I had in my hand. So
right.
At least I'll take my small victories where I can, right?
Yeah.
So that was my scalper story. So
that's
people in the North Atlanta, Marietta, Kennesaw area, keep an eye out.
Shaggy dude with a hat.
Yeah.
Checking his phone.
Yeah.
That's the worst when you're at Goodwill or you're at wherever and you see homeboy on his phone on eBay. You know, the Goodwill, you see people, I've seen people putting stuff on the shelf, you know, like employees on their phone.
Yep. They know what's up.
Yeah. And then they according to the Goodwill that I've talked to, we don't do the ones up here don't contribute to the website, that auction website, but I never see anything good anymore in Goodwills.
I've never seen anything good at a Goodwill. I've never had a good Goodwill pickup.
Yeah.
Because I feel like every time I go to a Goodwill, it's for something that isn't important. Like whenever Walking Dead came out, I went to Goodwill to buy a white bed sheet because I painted "Do Not Open Dead" inside, and then I hung it in front of my house for Halloween one year. So that's like the one thing that I got at Goodwill that was worth the $4 I spent on it. So, but I've never had a good Goodwill. Have you had a Goodwill find?
The best thing I've ever found was like a bag of open pops for like $5. They probably had like 30 or 40 pops in it. And some of them were worth money. I mean, I made my money back. I made the $5 back. But that's about it. And then I'll find a VHS every now and again.
All right.
You know, nothing incredible, but you know, that may be like one a year. Mm-hmm. And that's hitting a Goodwill. You're probably, I mean, there's one right here. So about once a month I'll hit it, but I don't do it like I should. You know, if you really are serious about it.
Right.
But actually I still look. I'm like, I hope there's something in the case, or maybe somebody. Actually, what I really hope to walk into Goodwill is to find the land speeder, the land speeder, the pedal car.
Yeah.
The pedal speeder bike pedal car.
Right.
I keep looking. I'm hoping one day somebody won't know what they have and donate it to Goodwill.
Man, one day. I remember I had an acquaintance buy one of those when they went on clearance. So he's got it. I don't think he's ever used it. Because he's an adult. He can't fit in it.
Oh, you're talking the land speed. I'm talking like the old school pedal car.
Oh, okay.
The speeder bike pedal car.
Oh, right. Okay.
That was a giveaway.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude. Well yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah. That if you find them, they're like $1,500 or something stupid. They're a lot of money, and I've seen them, but every time I see them, it's somebody showing it off. It's never a for sale thing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I've found like Power of the Force 2 stuff mint on card at a Goodwill, but you pick it up and then you see a guy around the corner with the other piece in his hand, and you're just like, take it, dude. I don't want it.
Yeah. I remember, man, like because that was the line that I started to buy Star Wars toys on. I was fortunate enough to have an older brother that bequeathed me all of his original Star Wars toys, and at the time I didn't know, that they were going to be worth something further in the future.
Right.
And then just through a bunch of moves, and also just me being a kid and playing with them, they all just kind of... I lost one here and there. And I only have one left, which is Yoda. I don't know which Yoda it is, but I just know it's a Yoda, and I've got the Darth Vader case. But the Power of the Force stuff that's the stuff that, like, whenever I think of Star Wars toys, that's my era of Star Wars toys, because that's the stuff that I spent the most money on in my childhood. So I have a soft spot, but you can find them everywhere. Like it used to be like sometimes you like for a while there were some pieces that were hard to find, but now they're just like $5 for a sealed figure, which is good if I ever want to start collecting those, but I don't.
Right. Yeah, I wish
I've done that.
Yeah, I wish I would have realized when I was collecting the Power of the Force 2 stuff that I could have bought vintage for probably way cheaper.
Yeah. This was also the 90s, so like way cheaper in the 90s was still probably a little on the expensive side.
Yeah.
Right, by at least 90s standards, I would think. So.
Shit, I remember 8-10 years ago picking up figures for $1.
Mm-hmm. That's damn.
Yeah.
I remember my first Toylanta in 2019. No, not... Yeah, 2019. Because I keep forgetting we skipped a year.
Right.
A year, everything just stopped. In 2019, there was a box at a booth that just said Star Wars figures $1, and I pulled out the drawer, and it was like a bunch of, I don't know, Rebel Trooper here and a Imperial officer there, and so it wasn't anybody descript or anything, but I was like, that's still pretty cool for $1.
Right.
To get one of these figures. So that's whenever I started to think, like, maybe I can do some of the vintage stuff. And then I saw some of the stuff, and I was like, oh, I cannot do the vintage stuff. I cannot.
Yeah, now a Form Boy's $100.
Mm-hmm.
Form Boy Luke's $100.
Woo.
Leia's even more. Leia's even more, but her blaster's like $100. The black blaster, which I don't get it, and I guess maybe because people just want something that's associated with that person.
Mm-hmm.
But the minute she died, her stuff skyrocketed.
That was kind of what roped me into buying and starting to collect the 40th anniversary Black Series stuff.
Uh-huh.
So when that line came out, I was actually completely out of buying Star Wars stuff. I was buying a vintage collection figure here and there, and just kind of stowing it away. But I wasn't as into collecting as I am right now when that line came out. And when the first wave hit, I was in Disney World. We were there for my wife's birthday in April of 2017. And we were in downtown Disney, and they have the Star Wars store that was on the far end, before they opened up like the Galactic store close to the carousel.
Uh-huh.
So this was all the way on the other end, close to the Cirque du Soleil theater.
Okay.
And so we went in, and I just saw all of the 40th anniversary stuff on card. And it was tons of Luke's, tons of Obi-Wan, tons of Leia's. And then I don't know why I didn't think this at the time. I guess my collector brain and my collector mentality had just flown the coop. But there were only 2 Han Solos and 2 R2-D2s.
Oh.
And there were tons of everybody else.
Right.
And I thought to myself, I'm like, well, I'm obviously going to get the Leia because she just passed away 4 months ago. This is the one that everybody's going to want.
Right.
So I bought a Leia. And then whenever I got back to the hotel room, I was like, you know what, I think I'm going to go and get a Luke. So I went back the next day, I picked up the Luke, and then I noticed that the Han and the R2s were gone. And it didn't dawn on me until later that those were the short packs.
Right.
And I'm like, why, like, as a former collector, I should have known, because there were only 2 of those and a million of all the other ones, that those were going to be the harder ones to find.
Right.
And luckily, whenever I got back up here, I was able to find the Han and find the R2-D2. That R2-D2 sent me on a wild goose chase.
Uh-huh.
But that's kind of how I started. That was kind of what, like, jump-started me going back into, like, you know, starting to do Black Series stuff. Oh!
I couldn't hear what you said. Sorry.
Sorry,
Did you
no.
say that?
My Siri just started talking to me on my watch.
You didn't even say Siri.
I know. So that's kind of what got me going back to the 40th anniversary, or at least the Black Series stuff. So I think I'm roped in for the remainder of the 40th anniversary stuff until whenever they, you know, whatever they finish it off with in Return of the Jedi.
Right.
In a couple years.
Are you going to go back and do the Power of the Force recards?
No. I think there's a limit to what I Oh, hold on a second, Glenn. I'm sorry. I'm getting a text message.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's from Jason.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Jason says, "Hey, Jordan. Glad you're on the podcast. Sorry I can't be there to chat with you. Having a good time up in New York. Just went apple picking.
Oh.
But I did want to remind you and Glenn that Hasbro is the worst when it comes to repacks. And they need to start coming up with a few more newer stuff for the Black Series. But in conclusion, Hasbro is awful, and they need to stop repacking stuff." That was a very specific text message from Jason, I thought. And it's also 9:09 on Saturday night, so I guess it was just on his mind.
Right.
And he had to tell some. I don't know why he didn't text you. He specifically texted me.
Right, that's weird.
It is weird.
Maybe you're on his brain.
I guess. You know what?
What?
We're thinking about you too, Jason. But no, like I think there's a line, right? Like, and I think Jason's not here, but he hits the nail on the head every time. It's like Hasbro likes a good repack, and for some reason, Star Wars is just the repack brand at this moment, and I can't. I've already got the one Han Solo. It's the same Han Solo, just on a different card back. I'm not going to do the Power of the Force 2 card back. Like, I can't. So, if, I want to give Hasbro more money for Black Series stuff, but I don't want to give them more money for repack stuff.
Speaking of repacks, did you pick up the new Boba Fett? The droid stuff that they came out with?
No. And it looks cool. It looks cool. I like it. But I'm hoping now that they'll do a holiday special release, which is very close to the droid's cartoon colors.
Right.
So if they end up doing an official holiday special release, then I will get that repack Boba Fett. I don't think they will, only because they're still kind of sweeping the holiday special underneath the rug.
Right.
Although there was that whole section that they remastered and put on Disney Plus.
Right.
The animated section with Boba Fett. But I'm hoping that Disney will start to embrace the holiday special, and I'm hoping that within, if not by this year, by next year we'll get a remastered version of it on Disney Plus, because you can watch it on YouTube now for free.
Right.
It's just terrible quality.
Yeah.
So
we were at Narayan was playing at one summer social, and we happened to walk in during the porno scene, and Mandy was like, "What the hell is he watching?"
Grandpa Chewie is having his special time. What was Grandpa Chewie's name?
I don't know. Gummy?
Gummy? I can't remember. I should look it up. Hold on. This is real time fact checking here, Glenn, on the Smugglers Galaxy podcast.
Yes.
Star Wars Holiday Special. Chewbacca's father? Who was Chewbacca's father? Adichikuk. I can't pronounce that.
Yeah, it's too screwy.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that was the scene where he put on like the visor, or he was watching like the 3D hologram of the knot stripper.
Right. Jeez.
All right. I'm gonna. This might be a hot take. This might be an unpopular opinion, Glenn.
Yes.
I enjoy the holiday special. I watch it every year, unironically. Like, I put it on, and I just let it play. I might not pay attention to all of it, but I let it play. And if there's anything that I want more, or there's anything that I don't want more, or however the version of that, I'm a couple beers in, everybody. I want a figure of B. Arthur. B. Arthur's Cantina character from the holiday special.
Yes.
I feel like if I had a wish list of Star Wars characters, it would be at least 2 or 3 figures from the Star Wars holiday special.
Right.
One of which would be B. Arthur.
Uh-huh.
And then the other one would be the Boba Fett with those colors of the animated special. And then maybe I would want... let's see. What's the one alien that ended up having the cooking show that ended up having all the arms?
Yes.
Yeah.
That one, I was like, wait a minute, is B. Arthur the one with all the arms or not? That's where I was going.
Yeah, B. Arthur was the cantina owner. And she had the band playing in the background.
Yeah.
So oddly enough, they were playing the other song that they knew, not the one song that they knew.
They were playing the other one.
So,
but yeah, going back to that Boba Fett, I was surprised it seemed to be up for a while.
did it eventually sell? The pre-order sold out?
The pre-order sold out of the TVC one. Sold out within like 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Which Boba Fett's been going in seconds. And I actually, because it had come up and I had it, because everybody had posted the pre-order links for it, and I'm sitting there hitting refresh, and when it comes up, I was like, it came up the short one, the TVC one, and I wanted the Black Series one, so screw it, I'll just put the Black Series, the TVC in my order, in my basket, and I'll go back and find the link for the Black Series one, and I was able to get both of them.
Oh, nice.
So normally when you have that kind of pickup, you lose.
Right.
And I was able to get both of them. So
That's pretty cool.
knock on wood.
They'll probably be delayed.
Right.
Knowing Target. So.
I've got a red card. I don't know what that means.
I love the shrug that you just gave.
Yeah, Mandy was like, order it off my account because we've got a red card. I'm like, but it was 5% off and free shipping. So.
Hey, I'm not mad at that.
No.
So, I should probably, I pre-order enough stuff on Target, I should probably look into getting a red card.
But it's weird because it'll tie into your debit card, so it's not like it's a credit card.
Right, it's just something you can use at Target for an extra perk.
Right.
It's weird.
And you can do it through the app, and it's just, it's one of those weird things. But hey, if it saves me pays for taxes and free shipping, why not?
Yeah, I'm not mad at it.
Nuh-uh.
So, yeah, no, I unironically love the holiday special. So much so that I try to show it to somebody new every year. And then they more often than not, hate it.
Mm-hmm.
And rightfully so. It's not great. I know it's not great, but I still like it. So.
Yeah, I watched the Boba Fett when it came out on Disney Plus, and it was just like, this is bad. It was, I am Boba Fett.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all choppy, and Han Solo looks nothing like Han Solo.
It had that weird yellow submarine animation.
Oh, okay.
And that weird late 60s to late 70s budget animation, because it almost looked like a cross, like if Ralph Bakshi animated Yellow Submarine. That's what I'm going with.
Okay.
That's what I'm going with. So Ralph Bakshi, famous for Wizards and Fritz the Cat and some other stuff I can't remember at the moment. American Pop was another one of his. So, he did the Lord of the Rings, the animated Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
in the
you're
70s.
right. Now that, because I at least seen the card backs.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can see it.
So, I wonder if since they did the droids, I wonder if they'll do an Ewoks release.
That would be fun.
That would be fun. Yeah. Also another weird ass cartoon.
Right, but then they'd have to mold new figures.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if that's what it takes for us to get something new, I won't be mad. But I didn't jump on the Black Series Boba Fett or the Vintage Collection stuff because I actually just sold my Vintage Collection stuff.
Right.
So I was able to unload all those, and I'm sticking with Black Series from here on out. So.
Yeah, I mean, the whole reason I picked the TVC when the Vintage Collection went up, I'm like, if I don't like it, I can flip it.
Yeah. I can see that.
And then you're also like, am I being a scalper, or am I just, knowing that I can... Yeah, that's that fine line.
Yeah, well, I also feel that, like, if you get it and it doesn't spark joy with the Georgia group of collectors, like, I feel like somebody will take it off your hands.
Yeah.
And they'll probably compensate you with a couple extra bucks for your troubles and whatnot.
Right.
So, I think there's a difference of getting it, and then once you get it, just not being into it, and maybe in selling it off, and then versus specifically buying it to sell it off at that elevated price. I like you said, it's a fine line, but I don't think that. I always say cost plus $5 is more than fair.
Right.
For if somebody wants to buy something off the peg and sell it to somebody else.
So I used to do that with Pops. When you'd go to, like FYE would do a limited edition, you'd go pick up two, and you'd flip one. You'd hold on to it for a little bit, and then when the price rose, you paid for both of them.
Every once in a while, I'll find something that I have tucked away in a closet that's going for decent money on eBay, but it's also something that I forgot that I've had for a handful of years. But at the end of the day, like, if it's going for an okay amount, I'm not married to it.
Right.
So.
Right. That's what I had. I've got another question, but I had a buddy that before you came, a buddy that I work with was like 7 minutes from here, so he's like, "Hey man, I want to come check." I'm in Woodstock. I'm like, "Come check the house out." So he's like, "Man, if somebody walked in and like offered you like $50,000 for all this stuff," I'm like, "Come on."
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not. It would hurt, but I could start right over again.
Yeah. I feel like if somebody offered me the right amount for my room of stuff, like I would probably say, yeah, sure.
Right.
It's just stuff.
Right.
Like, I have it now and I'm enjoying it now, but can't take it with me.
Exactly.
So.
And that's what we were talking about. I had the conversation as you're getting older, it's like kids don't want this stuff. So what's going to happen in 20, 30 years?
Exactly. So, like, I've got it now. It's on the shelf. I'm enjoying it. It brings me joy. Like, you probably do this too. Like, you had a stressful day. You come home. You hang out in your action figure room.
Right. Because
that just takes the edge off. It de-stresses you, right? Like, so, like, at least it's serving some kind of therapeutic purpose at some level, right?
Right.
So, your cat in this door window, has been staring at us for about 30 minutes.
He likes coming outside. He's an outdoor cat, but it's too late in the night, man. They don't like him going out this late.
Yeah, I don't blame it.
Yeah, but this same guy that'll look at me and go, for $1 billion, and I'll just go, yes. He's like, but I didn't finish it. I said, it's $1 billion.
Yeah.
As long as I'm not losing a limb or doing something illegal.
Yes.
I'm down.
Buddy, you know what I could do with $1 billion?
I said, you need to drop it down to about 100,000, maybe $1 million. Then I'd think about it for a minute.
Right. So, this to give you an idea, I was actually having this conversation with a friend of mine about the difference between $1 billion and $1 million. So instead of thinking it in terms of dollars, think of it in terms of like seconds, like increments of time. A magnitude of a million seconds is 12 days.
Okay.
Right? That's a lot of days, right? When you're thinking in terms of seconds. 1 billion seconds is 31 years.
Jesus. Wow.
And now translate that into seconds to dollars.
Right.
That is an astronomical amount of money. I couldn't spend $1 billion if I even tried.
Right.
Like, I don't think I could do it.
Yeah.
So, yes, I would sell all of my toys for $1 billion. I would sell all of my guitars for $1 billion. I would, all my vintage video game, $1 billion.
Well, he's more like, well, would you, you have the marry, murder, have sex, that type of stuff. He's like, for $1 billion, would you do this? That's the kind of stuff he brings up, and I'm just like, dude, it doesn't matter. It's $1 billion.
It's $1 billion.
It's $1 billion.
$1 billion.
That $1 billion will wipe my memory.
Will go a long way.
Yeah, we can wipe my memory. We'll do a good job of wiping my memory.
Yeah. So, I would, for sure. You said you had a question?
Well, just because this guy, he's heard me talk about my collection for years, and he finally was close enough to where he can come check it out. And it's just, how do you, people seeing your collection have no clue about it, don't give a shit about Star Wars or any of the stuff you're into. They walk in and they see the magnet. I don't know how big I've never seen your collection, but I'm assuming you've got a room. You say you have a room.
Yeah, I've got an office.
Yeah, so it's probably full of stuff.
Yeah.
And they walk in and they're just like, I've got mine pretty well separated, but, they walk in and they're just like, oh my God. And it's just, I don't know, just how do you deal with it? How it's just weird to me. Because it's like in my mind, and it's like, am I being this ridiculous collecting this much crap? Or am I just seeing somebody who has no clue what I'm into?
I've been fortunate in the sense that people who come over to my house know that I'm into it, and they're not surprised when they see it because they know it's my thing. It's what I do. Like I'm just a toy collector. I love action figures, regardless of what it is I collect. So, I think people on some level know what they're getting into when they come to visit my house and I show off my collection. I've never really been in a position where somebody who just had zero clue came in and what is all of this? But it's genuinely been a positive response, so I've been very fortunate in that.
Yeah, I think it's positive, but I think it's all been positive, but I think it's just the way I have my collection set up. It's just in different rooms.
Yeah.
So they'll go and they're like, "Oh, is this it?" I'm like, "No."
Oh no.
And then they go in the other room and they're like, "This is it." I'm like, "No."
Yeah. Here's and then you the coup de grace is the big big basement room, right?
Yeah.
So I've actually had to start putting stuff in our guest room because we have a three bedroom townhome and we're slowly trying to fix it up to get a larger house. But all of my stuff is starting to spill out into the guest room. So every once in a while people will be like, "Is this it?" And I'm like, "No." And then I have to I feel like I do a walk of shame going into the next room.
It's exactly
like, there's more here because I'm a big nerd and this is what I do.
Yeah, I had my old drummer come here, and he was a big Star Wars. He had a bunch of stuff. And he's actually told me, he goes, "You need to come to my house and look at my stuff because I'm moving or whatever, and I don't have room for all of it." And he was just like, he walks down the stairs, and you've got the one overflow room, and he's just like, "This is it, right?" I'm like, "No," and he's just like, "Oh my God," and he's a nerd,
right?
So it's just.
I also feel that like sometimes I have stealth nerd stuff in places. So I know you downstairs, and I don't think I'm giving anything away, but you have all the Star Wars ornaments on display. So like we have Star Wars ornaments too, but we keep them with all our Christmas stuff. So like they come out once a year. So like even when I don't have nerd stuff, I still have nerd stuff.
Right.
So.
Right, the only reason I have them on display is because I'm spending a shit ton of money on these things for them to get displayed 1 month a year.
Right. Totally get it. So I put them with the Christmas stuff because I don't have any other place to put them.
Right, and I think I consider myself lucky because I do have the overflow room, and I didn't have this house, and we did if it wasn't the house we bought whatever. we didn't buy it to have the collection room, but it just kind of happened.
Right. That's kind of the discussion I'm having with my wife. Like, we can get a house wherever you want. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care how far I have to drive for. Like, that doesn't bother me. It's like, as long as we have a room for an office / collection room, and she's on board with it. So
That's awesome.
She's not anti that. But I'm like, we know what we're looking for in the next house.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, if we can have a spot for all of this stuff, that would be good. And she seems into it, so.
Right. Yeah, that's the one thing my buddy looked at me today. He goes, dude, it would suck moving. I said, no shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the day I have to pack all of that stuff. I actually have a buddy right now who's slowly he's in a rent house. And right now he's slowly packing all of his stuff up because he and his wife are going to start looking for a house within the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, I've got way too much stuff. Like,
Right.
I thought I had a lot of stuff. I saw his collection. I'm like, oh no. I have nothing.
Right, and it is, and I keep reiterating this. I mean, people see it and they're just like, holy crap. It's like, no, dude, it's $5 a time. It's $10 at a time. It's,
Yeah.
it's just, it's collecting for 8 or 10 years. And
Yep.
This is what you end up with. It's not overnight.
Mm-hmm. That's the truth, man. I need to go and, like, spring clean some stuff. Because do you hold on to your boxes to stuff?
Something I did until we got a dumpster when we got the deck done, and I said screw it and threw a bunch of boxes away.
I really had to come to terms with not keeping boxes because the mentality was, well, I'll buy it and I'll save the box, and if I ever need to sell it, then maybe it'll bring a couple bucks more. Like, if not that I plan on reselling it, but if I'm ever, like, hard up for something and I need to get rid of something fast, then this would sell quicker. But I came to terms with the fact that a good figure is going to sell regardless of if it has a box or not.
Right.
Because somebody's going to be looking for it with or without the box. So I just said, all right, time to throw away all the boxes. And I went into my office closet, and I had a stack of boxes that almost went from the floor to the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, I can't keep holding on to these. So I threw them away.
Now, were these Black Series? Were they Black Series or NECA or just?
It was Black Series. It was Transformers. It was some Marvel Legends. It was. I feel like I had a statue box for something that I threw away. The bulk of it was Black Series and Transformers.
Okay.
I can tell you that. So.
See, I was holding on to my Black Series stuff, and that's the stuff I threw away. But if it's like a NECA and it's a really awesome looking box, I'll tend to hold on to that. I'll fight it a little bit more.
So what I did make a deal with myself was that, like, the NECA boxes stay because those have those nice window boxes where they have, like, the Velcro and you can open it up, and so those are staying.
Plus, it's a good place to keep all the extra parts.
That's true. I've been trying to convince myself to go out and buy, like, a tackle box to put extra pieces in, so that way, in case I ever need, an extra piece for something, or if I ever do, like, take photos of my figures and I need, like, an open hand instead of a closed hand, like, I can go to that tackle box and pull that accessory. So I'm thinking about doing something like that, but yeah, so I all the NECA stuff, because I don't have a good place to put the NECA stuff. Like, I'll open it up, I'll mess with it, and then I'll put it back in the box, and then it stays there until I can find a place to display it. And then my Transformer exclusive boxes I'll keep.
Right.
But even then, I'm slowly starting to convince myself, I'm like, it's cardboard, no one cares.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I think my real eye opener is when you go to Home Depot and spend $200 on a shelf, and you're spending $10 on totes, each on totes.
Yep.
To hold boxes.
Yeah.
Then you're like, is it worth it?
No.
And this was for Pops, because for Pops this is a little bit of a different story, but for other crap it's like.
Yeah. Pops are weird, man. I don't know if we've had the Pop conversation or not, but I went down the Pop rabbit hole really hard around 2013, 2014.
Uh-huh.
I bought one on a Sunday for $10, and then by Friday I had 7 of them, and I'm like, I just spent $70 on these things, and I liked them, I enjoyed them. I never opened the pops because some of them had really cool box art. Like I was buying some of the horror ones, and they would put like extra artwork on the window package.
Right.
So I'm like, well, I don't want to get rid of that. And then I got to a point where I'm like, man, I'm not doing anything with these. Like, some pops are cool, and the pops that I still have left have all been gifts that were given to me. So I'm not gonna sell a gift.
Right.
But anything that I spent money on, I was just like, all right, I can't. Kind of like what Mandy said, you can either have comic books or action figures. My wife was like, you can either do action figures or pops. You can't do both. And I was like, well, the action figures all the way, for sure.
I wish she would have done that to me.
So, well, Glenn, you can only have pops or action figures. As if my word carries any weight around your own.
Well, we're done with pops, man. I kept, because we sold a good chunk of them, and I made my money back plus. I actually took stuff to steal and sold them, short sold them, because I'm like, I need the money. I don't need the money, but it'd be a hell of a lot easier to have the money now than to put it on Macari and wait 2 or 3 weeks.
It's also like you need the space more than you need the money at that point, right?
And we got rid of a bunch of them, but we made, it paid for a lot of big purchase, or paid for a chunk of our big purchases.
That's good, no man. I'm always a big fan of if you can whittle away at a big purchase, or at least bring your cost down of a big purchase, for sure, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, she wouldn't let me get rid of the Rebels, because I have the full run of Rebels pops. And after I sold a bunch of pops, they released another figure for that series, so I had to go buy another damn pop to leave that run full. And I was just like, damn it.
Yeah, that's man. Especially if like you don't want to be a completist, but you want to be a completist for at least the things that you kept, right?
Right.
So of course, if they release one more, it's begrudgingly spend another $10 or $12 on one of those.
Right. But I mean, the reason that triggered it was because they released like 4 or 5 Boba Fett's like back to back to back to back to back, and I was like, screw this.
Yeah.
I'm done. At least with I short sold all my Fetts to steal, and walked away with a few $100s, and I was happy. I made more money than I had into them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even though I know they were probably worth. Well, actually, I threw them up on like the Funko pages, and I'm like, this is what I want for them, and people were laughing at it. It's like, but they're worth this. I think I wanted like $1,000 for the set, and people were kind of, you get the laughing emojis. You get a bunch of those.
Yeah.
And it's like, but dude, they're worth this.
That's what. Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I'm kind of glad I got out of the pop game, because I feel sometimes the action figure game can be pretty vicious, especially whenever stuff is hard to find and it's being picked up by scalpers. But for some reason, I just think it's worse with pops.
Right.
Like, I feel like scalpers hit pops worse than they do action figures. And there's also other places of business in the area that will also frequent stores to get exclusives to upcharge them in their own stores.
Right.
Specifically the one in our local mall.
That one's horrible, man.
Oh, man. So I was telling you that my wife started buying these Squishmallows, and she went to the mall, and apparently they're getting in on the Squishmallow game too. Mm-hmm. So they do Pops and Squishmallows, and she found the one she wanted, which is like a $20, plush, which is more than reasonable for the size it is. They wanted like $50 for it, and I'm like, don't give those people money.
Right.
Don't encourage that.
Right.
And she at least was like, no, I'm not going to buy this. It's $20. Like, this is more than twice the price. I like these things, but I don't like them that much. So, I was kind of like proud. I'm like, I'm going to turn you into a collector yet, baby.
Yeah, I remember Mandy had The first one she ever bought were Jules and Vincent from Pulp Fiction. And when those sold, she's like almost started crying. She's
Really?
like, I wasn't ready for these to sell, but she doubled her money.
Good for her. I can tell you that the first pop that I bought was Rorschach from Watchmen.
Uh-huh.
And the only reason I bought it was because I have a cat. His name is Baxter, and he's black and white. And his full name is Baxter von Rorschach, because he looks like his face had the pattern of Rorschach.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought it because it was his namesake. I never opened it, and it just sat in the box. I'm like, I bought it because it's my cat's name. It was $8 on Amazon. 5-6 years later, I realize I still have it, and I'm like, oh, what is this going for? And it was going for $90.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, I don't need this.
Right. All of a sudden, you're like
I don't need this.
taking pictures of it and throwing
Right.
it up on whatever.
And so in whenever I find something that I have is going for a decent amount of money on eBay, I let eBay handle it. Like I don't throw it up there as like a buy it now, $99. Like I'm like, no, I paid $8.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna start at $7.99.
Wow.
And if everybody, if it is as in demand as everybody or eBay is dictating, then everybody will bid on it. So that's how I do my eBay bids.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, I've got $8-10 invested in this thing. If I make $8-10 back and I get reimbursed for the shipping, then I'm not really out any money. So it doesn't, like, I'm not out there to like try to get a whole bunch of money. But if it just so happens that that's what eBay dictates, or at least somebody on eBay wants to bid on it, I'm not going to stop them.
Right.
But I'm also not going to go out of my way to clear shelves. Like, I'm not going to scalp stuff for that. But again, this is stuff that I've had in a closet for 5, 6, 7 years, where I was kind of like, all right, here you go.
Mm.
So
What did it end up going for?
I think I ended up getting like $85
Okay.
for it. So I made 10 times my money.
Right.
But I had spent that $8 6 years prior.
Right.
So
Yeah, I think the most I made was I got one of those glow-in-the-dark Marty Pops from plastic and sold it for like $500.
damn.
Yeah.
Damn. I only have a handful of Pops now, and I don't have any Star Wars ones. I feel like every time I come on the show, I'm a very non-Star Wars guest, even though I collect Star Wars stuff. So I'm always afraid that like if I start talking about non-Star Wars stuff, people are going to turn the episode off. I only have like a handful now.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that I have are just really rando. Like I've got a David Pumpkins Funko Pop. I've got. Did you ever see the movie The Witch? It was the 17th century folktale movie from A24. It was a horror film.
No.
They had a goat named Black Phillip, and then spoiler alert: Black Phillip turns out to be the devil.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so I have a pop of Black Phillip, and I've got a pop of Lemmy Kilmister
Right.
from Kilmeister from
Motorhead.
Motorhead. So like I've got very random pops,
Right.
The ones that I have left that were given to me. So
Yeah. And I was trying to like do a run of like a Luke, Leia, Han, and Chewie. I think Mandy was handling Chewie, but it got ridiculous. It's like every okay, here there's a different pose, or Hasbro seems to be taking a page out of their book.
right, where it's this is Chewie with his bowcaster.
Right.
Or this is Chewie with his bowcaster in his right hand. Or this is Chewie with a disassembled C-3PO.
Right.
Yeah.
And then hold on, it's Chewie with this disassembled C-3PO flocked.
Oh, ooh. Yeah. I think that's whenever I started to call it a day on Pops, is whenever they started to reissue stuff flocked, I was like, alright, I think I'm done.
Right.
I can tell you the last Funko Pop I actually spent money on, and it wasn't even my money because it was a gift card. I bought the Target exclusive. It was supposed to be a San Diego. It was one of the ones that they released at San Diego Comic-Con, but it showed up in the stores, and it was the Teen Wolf, the Michael J. Fox Teen Wolf in his Letterman jacket, and that's the last one I spent any kind of money on that I had. I still have that one too, but getting into the pop game is a very slippery slope, but specifically the Star Wars pop game is even, like, I feel that's even a more slippery slope than just pops in general, because there are just tons of Star Wars stuff. If I had to think of a percentage, like, I would think that maybe a quarter of all pops have to be Star Wars.
It has to be.
Because there's just so many of them.
Right.
I could be wrong. Somebody's probably yelling at the podcast right now. That's wrong, Jordan. But
that, or they turned it off because we're talking pops.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. Do you? Is there anything that's upcoming Star Wars that you're looking forward to, like figures or anything else?
Jeez. I'm thinking. I really don't keep up with the new stuff. I mean, I'm looking forward to going to Cincinnati next weekend.
Yeah.
With they're doing a big Cincinnati show, so that should be fun. And we're planning I'm going up with Narayan for the club, and with I'm going up with Narayan from the club, and he's got a bunch of tours planned. So
That's cool.
Yeah, that should be a fun trip.
Yeah. Is Jason gonna go?
No.
Oh.
He's got kids.
Yeah.
He's got to watch the kids.
No, he's not going. He's got kids.
Yeah.
Maybe Jason and I will live vicariously through your adventures and Narayan's adventures.
Yeah. That'll be a fun trip. I know there's a lot of people coming into town for that, or going to Cincinnati for that. But as far as stuff coming out, I'm really not. That Boba Fett was the one thing I got really excited about, just because I like that. The color scheme looked cool.
Yeah. I'm excited to try to find the Tech Black Series figure. I know that's slowly been hitting the shelves over the last month or so. I'm pretty excited because they announced Book of Boba Fett has a date.
Yeah, that's true.
So I can't believe we've been talking for an hour, and this is like we just got to this
didn't hit a news section.
So, but yeah, this week the Book of Boba Fett has a release date, and the first episode is the 29th of December.
Right.
So it's a little bit of a belated Christmas gift.
Right.
I think.
What day is that going to fall on?
That is it's either going to be a Wednesday or a Friday.
29th. Yeah, it's a Wednesday.
Yep. So I feel like Disney Plus has started to embrace Wednesday as their new release date.
Right.
For stuff, because I think with the success Marvel has had, they've kind of shifted towards Wednesday.
Yeah.
So, but you guys were talking on your not last episode, but episode before last about Boba Fett, because he's your favorite character.
Yes.
Right? So I was kind of in the same boat with Jason, where I was like, listen, I think Boba Fett looks cool, but Homeboy's only got like a total of 5 minutes of screen time, and then gets beaten by a blind dude. And then for the longest time, that was like the stance I held. But I'll be damned if Filoni just didn't make me love Boba Fett in 2 minutes of him whooping somebody's butt on the episode of The Mandalorian. I'm like, and just like that, I was like, I like Boba Fett again. Because growing up, I loved Boba Fett. I was like, Boba Fett's great. But then when I got older, I was like, maybe not. Maybe I don't like him as much as I thought he did. And I'm like, oh, nope. All right, now I see him do stuff again. I like him again.
Right. Well, he was a badass. You
He
finally
was.
got to see him be a badass.
He was. So you know what? If what repack I wouldn't be mad at is if Hasbro gave me a Boba Fett, but with his black shawl that he had, like his
the dad
skirt.
bod.
Yeah. If they gave me that Boba Fett with the battle damaged armor, but he was still wearing like his black skirt.
Right.
Like I thought that version of Boba Fett looked awesome, and I would love a figure of that.
Right. Well, we're waiting on that. And we're waiting on the Cobb van.
Yeah, because that was in the pipeline.
Right.
I think they said that they were going to do one. So.
And they're coming out with pop versions of those, so F you Funko.
Well, I mean, you can crank out a pop overnight, essentially. Like, those things are so easy to mold and then get in production. It's crazy.
Yeah, then we're going back to the whole, I'm going to shut up before we go back to the whole Lucasfilm and Hasbro.
Right.
Because it does suck, because you do see figures coming out from What If already.
I actually bought one today.
Oh my god.
Yeah. All right, so we talked about this the last episode I was on, about just Marvel. This was the year of Marvel Legends for Hasbro.
Right.
I was curious. I'm like, how many Marvel Legends figures came out this year?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to just take a guess? Just throw out a number.
Say 100.
100?
Yeah.
You're not that far off. 109
Wow.
Marvel Legends figures this year.
Wow.
I don't even think there were 50 Black Series figures that came out this year. I mean, I don't have the data in front of me but if memory serves me correctly, we had the first wave with the Bad Batch that also had Ventress and Bo-Katan.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had the Deluxe Boba Fett, the Deluxe Wrecker. And then theoretically the second wave of the Black Series with Tech, Lando, and whoever else is in that wave, I can't remember, is hitting the shelves now.
Right.
But what other Black Series? I guess the comic book Black Series stuff that came out.
The
with
Jackson
and the Dark Empire Luke, and then the Sith
the Darth Maul.
The Darth Maul, but there was also the Royal Guard.
Oh yeah.
From the Dark Empire comic. And then there has to have been another set of Black Series stuff that we're forgetting.
It had to be.
Or maybe we're not forgetting it.
Right. There's another person driving in their tree.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm to the point of the Black Series when I see something, I buy it.
Yeah.
Well, was this year the year that they redid the Rebels, or was that last year?
That was last year, because I bought the Ahsoka from that line.
Okay.
And I got it back in September of last year.
Gotcha.
Oh, was the Clone Wars wave this year or last year?
Did they, when they repacked them, or when they?
No, the one that was, it was the Walmart. It was the Walmart exclusive. There was the Ahsoka Trooper, the Mando Loyalist. Was that last year? I think that was last year.
It would be towards the end of the year, because I saw him at Toylanta. If it was last year, it'd be like gray, end of the year, first to.
Yeah. I'm looking up a Black Series list so we can get an accurate. All right, so. Oh my God, this website just broke my phone.
Uh-oh.
All right, so there was a handful of stuff we did miss. So like all the one-off 50th anniversary stuff. So the 4 Clone Wars figures, then there was like 3 or 4 of the Episode 1 for the Lucasfilm 50th.
Okay. Oh yeah.
And then there was the Amazon Greedo, and then there's
the Kenner Deco.
Yeah, and then there was the Jawa and the Greedo, Kenner Deco.
Right. And
so there was a handful of stuff that did come out this year, but still nothing that I think would bring that number, like even come close to doubling that number of Black Series stuff that came out in the year 2021.
And the Marvel Legends is probably all brand new stuff.
Yes and no. Brand new in the sense that it was a new character, but not brand new in the sense that it was a new mold.
Okay.
because they repaint the heck out of those molds. They're just, for some reason, the Marvel Legends stuff is really good about disguising the old molds that they use for the new figures. So every once in a while you can see it, not very often, but they apparently use a lot of the same bucks, and they use a lot of the same like legs and whatnot for multiple characters. So, but even then, I like kind of going back, even with all like the 50th anniversary stuff that's been sporadically dropped, I don't think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's 20 figures. Let's say 20 figures plus the 2 waves that came out. Yeah, that's I still say we're well under 100 figures.
Freaking Lucasfilm.
I don't know. That's so weird, man. I feel, and like I was actually thinking about this the other day too. It's like Star Wars, I think, is just as lush of a character pot as Marvel.
Right.
So I don't know what the holdup is. I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I try to make it make sense, and I can't.
Right.
So I don't know.
I don't get it.
I feel like I'm leaving everybody hanging because I don't have an answer.
I don't think there is an answer. I think it's Lucasfilm's is scared to let the secret out of the bag with stuff.
That could be fair. But I mean, if the secret out of the bag is just more repacks, then what does it matter?
Well, that may be why we're not getting the Cobb Vanth, why we're not getting the Dad Bod Fett, why we're not getting.
I know we're supposed to be getting an Omega at some point.
Yeah.
For Bad Batch.
Do you imagine her showing up on Book of Boba Fett? You think she will?
Oh man. I hope. I hope that there's this secret long plan, this long con that Filoni. You know that Charlie Day meme when he's like up by the blackboard, he's got like the conspiracy thing going on. Yeah. I hope that that's Dave Filoni connecting all of his Star Wars stuff that he's been doing. Like that's because I would love to see some of the Bad Batch characters show up in like the post original trilogy stuff that he's doing.
Right.
Like the Mando stuff and the Book of Boba Fett stuff. I would love that to happen. So, I think something will, a mention, a nod, a cameo, something will happen. To what extent, I don't know what.
Gotcha. Well, I think they're going to end up, because from what I'm understanding about the Book of Boba Fett, the chapters are continuing from Mandalorian. So it's an extension of Mandalorian. Okay. And then they're going to start season 3 after Book of Boba Fett.
That would be pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool to see some of the clones in that period of their life, just kind of like living on the outskirts.
Yeah, and Tamora Morrison, they can do it for cheap because they just need to redo his makeup.
Yep.
He's got to be the happiest guy ever because I mean he's booked for years.
Yeah, good for him. Good for him. I'm here for it, man. Good for him.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be fun. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if anyone else does this, but I specifically like to watch Star Wars around Christmas time.
Right.
It used to be that every Christmas I would watch the entire run of an entire franchise. So sometimes I would do like Lord of the Rings. Sometimes I would do Marvel, but often it's just been I've been beelining for Star Wars. Mm-hmm. So I often associate Star Wars with Christmas. Right. So like the fact that it's coming out around Christmas time is kind of cool for me. So
it'll be a good time.
Yeah, man.
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
What's going on?
Were you asleep?
No.
Okay.
What are we doing out here?
We're talking. Do you want to say hi to everybody? Say, look at that thing and say hi.
Hi.
Tell them your name.
My name is Riley.
And what's your favorite thing? What's the one thing you love in the world? What's your most favorite thing in the world?
Baby Yoda.
Do you need me to go start you a new TV show?
No.
Okay.
What a coincidence, because that's my favorite thing in the entire world is Baby Yoda.
But I wasn't wearing slippers.
What? You wearing slippers? Awesome. Bye, buddy.
Bye.
Love you. Close the door.
Whoa!
You all
He
right?
took a spill. That's all right.
Close the door.
He's
got
got it. Yeah. There you go.
Cameo by the grandson.
A intermission.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. I the missus and I have Disney planned in a couple months. So this
Yeah.
time in a couple months we'll be doing Star Wars. We're going for there's a year-long 50th celebration. But I'm anxious to get some of the 50th merchandise. Did you see? We'll go off on a little bit of a Disney World tangent here. But did you see the magic bands that are coming out for the 50th?
I haven't seen what they do, but I know that they're doing like Magic Band 2s.
So they're Magic Band Plus, and they've got LED lights. Oh,
Oh, you're going to bed? Okay, give me a kiss. Love you.
Love you.
Night night.
Bye.
hi kiddo. So anyway, so they're Magic Bands,
Mm-hmm.
but they're calling it Magic Band Plus, and they've got LED lights on them. And depending on where you scan them, it'll play a different tune
Right.
when you scan them. And there's a Grogu one, or at least
Oh.
what I saw. There's a Grogu one, so I think I might have to pick that one up.
How much
whenever
are-
I see it.
Did they release a price?
No, they haven't. I know it's going to be astronomical.
Right.
That is going to be a $50 Magic Band at the minimum, a $50.
Well,
Magic
because you're
Band.
paying $25 for a normal one.
Yeah, and you're also paying $8,000 for 3 days stay at a Galactic Star Cruiser.
That's coming up too.
So
They're finally going to release they're starting to book that here.
yeah, that
in
should
October
be
this month.
that should be pretty soon. The 20th, 22nd, something
Yeah.
like that.
The end of this month they're booking it.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss it because we ain't got that kind of scratch.
Oh, hell no.
We don't got those credits,
Right.
so
And I'm still nervous. I'm still nervous about it, but
I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be fun. I you know for a fact that Disney's gonna have their influencers come out weeks in advance before they open it to start filming stuff around and just to kind of get people hyped about it. So I'm sure I'll see tons of Disney vlog videos.
I mean, I've seen pictures because they had one of the heads of Disney on the bridge, and I'm like, it looked cool, but it didn't look.
Mhm.
It looked like the Millennium Falcon again. You know, where it's just a dumbed down version.
Yeah.
But
We'll see. I think it'll be fine. Again, it's finding the money for that
Right.
beast, right?
see, what I'm excited about is Rise is no longer a virtual queue.
That was very interesting because there were a lot of people who were very pro virtual queue
Uh huh.
and a lot of people who were very anti virtual queue. And it went on standby about a week ago.
Right.
And some of the people that I'm friends with that live down there said that they were able to get on the ride and ride it 3 times within an hour and a half. I know, right?
Mind freaking blown.
Right.
Dude.
And Disney does they do the thing where if you check the wait time on the app, they purposefully post it as being like an hour, like 20 or 30 minutes longer than what it really is.
Right.
And I don't know if that's just to deter the actual wait or what, but some people I follow on Twitter were like, yeah, I was able to get on there twice in at least 45 minutes, and the third time was at least within an hour and a half from my first ride.
Right.
Which is nuts. So, I don't know, like, is Standby the way to go for that? Because it seems like it's a people eater at some point.
Right.
Right? Like the Smuggler's Galaxy, or Smuggler's Galaxy, Smuggler's Run.
I do it all the time, man.
Smuggler's Run is a people eater. Like that,
Right.
there's 5 or 6 pods that are always loading. So that line just goes super fast.
Right.
I think the longest I've ever waited for that ride has been 20 minutes.
I think I waited one. Well, yeah. I've seen it as much as an hour, but that was within a month of it opening.
Yeah.
But you were still, the queue's so immersive in there that you don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Which I've heard the same thing about Rise.
Mhm.
Is the queue's insane.
Mm-hmm. Have you walked through the queue?
I know.
Have you been on the ride?
I haven't been on the ride.
Oh my gosh.
I went before it opened. I was there
Okay.
like a month after it opened, and I was actually in Florida like the week before it opened, because it opened like December 5th, and we were there that Thanksgiving.
Wow. Yeah.
And it was like, crap, I can't do it. But that was the one thing I didn't realize. You know, you're like, oh, cool, it's ending the virtual queue. And then I was listening to a podcast, and she was like, oh, yeah, I wrote it like 3 or 4 times in a day. And I went, oh, crap, that's a game changer.
Yeah.
Because that totally changes. Because if next time I go, I'm planning on going sometime next year, and I'm like, I'll go to Galaxy's Edge and then park hop.
Mm-hmm.
But if I could ride Smugglers.
See, you did it too.
If
all right?
I
I'm
could
not the
ride
only
Rise,
one.
yeah,
I'm not the
I
only
do
one.
it all the time.
See?
But if I could ride Rise 3 or 4 times in a day,
Mm-hmm.
I'll just hang out in Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not mad at it. Get a reservation for Oga's. Have a fuzzy tauntaun.
Mm-hmm.
Or a yub nub. Then go.
The brews are pretty good there too.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to getting a different drink, because we only went the once, and I only got the one drink, so I'm looking forward to trying something new there.
All right.
So
How many days are y'all planning?
7, so we get there on a Thursday and we leave on a Thursday.
Damn.
So
That's gonna be so much fun.
yeah, we're also doing December, and I don't know if you've been down there for all the Christmas decorations. I love Halloween, and Halloween in Magic Kingdom is great, but Christmas is park-wide.
Right.
And they go all out.
And they're doing all the new shows, the nighttime shows.
Yep. So, my one beef is that they took away my evening extra magic hours,
Right.
and they're only for deluxe resort guests now. And I'm like, man, that's the one that gets me.
Right.
I can let a lot of stuff go. I can let the price hikes go. Like, a lot of that I can let go. But you're taking away my extra magic hours in the evening, so I can't stay in Magic Kingdom till 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. because I'm not staying at a deluxe resort. That kind of bums me out.
Right. Well, that's how they're trying to push people to that resort.
Yeah, I don't have deluxe resort money. I barely have moderate resort money.
But that's the one thing that I enjoy.
No, let me rephrase this.
Yeah.
I don't have moderate resort money. My wife has moderate resort money, so I don't have it at all. Continue.
Yeah. But no, it sucked getting up at 4:30 in the morning. But when you're done with the park at 9, you're like, crap. You know, and we didn't. I wish we would have stayed later but by the time 9 o'clock rolls around, you're beat.
Yeah.
And we, my wife, we walked by Soaring in Epcot, and my wife was like, well, I want to ride Soaring again. And I was like, And I wish I would have gone, okay, let's go. Because my mind was, I'm in Disney mode. You got to go this way,
Right.
You've got the blinders on. And,
Right.
And we could have probably walked on Soaring.
That's a success when you can walk on Soarin' too.
Right.
So that's no easy task.
Yeah, we went ride Spaceship Earth for some reason.
I love Spaceship Earth though, man. I love it. Have you seen the new pictures for the new lighting?
Oh my God.
Oh, it looks so good.
Yeah.
So good. This is a Star Wars podcast, I
Yes,
promise.
it is. We do talk Disney, but yeah. But going back to the hotels, it's like if I'm getting a half an hour early, maybe I could see it, but I could go stay at Universal for half the price.
That's true. Universal is actually, people like to naysay Universal, but they're killing it right now, especially on like pricing and competition. And I'm a big mid-century modern guy. I love that aesthetic. I love the look. I love the furniture, and just like all of the artwork and designs of mid-century modern. And a lot of their hotels have been doing that. Like,
Right.
there's the Aventura, and there's also Cabana Bay. And Cabana Bay is, like, their value resort, too. And, like, when you look at it, it's like, man, this is nicer than any other hotel that I've stayed in for a fraction of the Disney price.
Right.
I mean, you're definitely paying for that Disney name,
Yeah.
but
But
you
I mean,
know,
there's nothing like the Disney bubble.
that's true. It's true.
But it's getting to the point where, you gotta even it out.
Yeah.
But anyway. Yeah, I want to hear how many times you get to ride rides when you go down.
We'll see. Like, and I'm really bummed because I'm gonna miss the winter social because it's that weekend.
Right.
And I told Jason, I think the last time we hung out a couple weeks ago, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to go. And Jason was like, what, why not? And I was like, I'll be in Disney. He's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the one excuse. Good job, man.
So.
Yeah, I want to go back down so bad, but I'm waiting. I want to wait for the COVID stuff to be done. I think you're hitting it at the right time. You're like right in the cusp of everything.
I hope that we're hitting it at the right time. I'm cautiously optimistic. The only reason I'm cautious about it is because all of the other resorts, we're going when all of the other resorts are going to finally be open again.
Right.
So, because there's still like 5 or 6 that haven't reopened. And I think people are seeing that all of the resorts are opening, so they're booking all of the resorts. So I think all of the resorts are going to be full.
Right.
So we'll see how packed it is. So it's either going to be very manageable or
insane.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a middle ground on that.
See, the cat got out.
Yeah, I was about to say the cat's coming in. Meow.
So yeah, I'm hoping either April or September I'll end up being back there. April's too damn hot to go to Disney, but
No, I can't. February to October is kind of like my my no-fly zone. I can deal with it in October for Halloween, but even in December it can get up to 80.
Right.
So no thanks.
We did September and it wasn't bad, but the crowds weren't there either.
Yeah, you're also, Orlando's got the good fortune of catching the breeze off the coast too.
Right.
It's not too far off the coast, but so you get a good wind breeze going through. But man, we went in the middle of September one year, and it was not good.
Right.
And then we went that one year when I was talking about earlier. We went in April for my wife's birthday, and that got pretty toasty too.
Yeah.
At the end of April, so.
Which is the middle of spring break or September, but now that the daughter moved out, we don't have to worry about school anymore. We'll just go whenever we want.
Yeah. Hey man. That's not a bad setup.
Right.
So.
But I'm already promising my grandson, I'm like, what's going to happen when you turn 8? I'm going to Disney World.
Okay. All right.
I got to remember this. We'll see what his mom says. Cool. What
Yeah,
time?
man.
10 o'clock.
10, 11.
Yeah.
Another good chat, man.
Yeah, man. Good. Thanks for coming over and chatting.
Thanks for having me, man. I know I'm no replacement. There's no stand-in for Jason. I only hope I did Jason justice
Right.
on his portion of the podcast.
Yeah. Well, tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on a handful of places. All my social medias are Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. If you just search Jordan Ghastly, you'll find me. I have a YouTube page which I do vlogs and toy hunt videos. And I also have a TikTok account that I'm still trying to figure out how to use. That's also...
Don't waste my time on TikTok.
I waste a lot of time.
I
on
waste
TikTok.
a lot of time.
I waste, but I never like constructively waste time on TikTok.
I've got on to my wife because she'll get on TikTok at night, and I'm just like, it's the same song over and over again. I'm like, why are you watching the same damn video 20 times? And she's like, it's the sound. So
Yeah,
she'll go
Same sound, different video.
I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's. I'm not proud of myself, Glenn, but I've wasted a lot of time on that app. But I also do a couple of other podcasts. I do a Disney podcast called The Mickey Mutineers, and then I do a movie podcast called Cinema Showdown. And you can find those. Just search either Mickey Mutineers or Cinema Showdown on any of your podcatchers. So
Awesome.
that's where you can find me.
Awesome. Well, shoot us an email at smugglersgalaxy@gmail.com and look us up on Instagram and follow and like us, leave a review, and thanks for watching. This is the way.
This is the way.
We're actually listening.
Either way, it's still the way.
Yes.